Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Entrepreneurship Unlocked. Today on our show, we have Sophia Akrami. Sophia is the founder of Anova Care, a home care and home health company based here in Colorado. Today, we will learn more about Sophia's entrepreneurial journey. Sophia, thanks so much for joining us today.
Hello, Nate. Thank you for having me, and I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. I'm excited to have you. So, Sophia, for the people who have not heard of you before or have not heard of Anova Care before, give us some background on exactly what Anova Care does.
Sure. Anova Care is a home care organization. Care at home means adult daily activities, home health, and we are actively working towards bringing palliative and hospice. So the continuum of care, one stop, one call, we will have it covered.
That's great. Yeah, I love it. There's no secret that especially in today's day and age, there's so many great resources out there where you don't need to send your parent or your grandparent to stay at a facility, right? You can have people come to your home and give you just a much more personalized and overall better experience. But Sophia, what originally got you into the healthcare and home-based care space specifically?
Absolutely. So life experiences. And even though I absolutely know that a lot of facilities, communities that are around, they do an amazing job. But personally, I am a big believer in care at home. I always recommend to families that exhaust all the options before you have your loved one moved into a community. My mom had a massive stroke in 2005. And I always say there are a couple chapters to Anova. Mom was the chapter one. When she had her stroke, she needed 24/7 care. And we did not want our mom to move into a facility. And that's where I guess Anova Care started unofficially. But the actual chapter of Anova started in 2018, February 1. I took over a small home care agency. I bought a license basically and started my journey with 3 Medicaid clients. And since then, we have acquired home health care agency and we are opening the doors to hospice and then palliative care as of February 23rd. So the continuum of care from beginning to end. Mom was, as I said, chapter one of this journey. She lived with us 10 years, and through these 10 years, I saw all the challenges and all the needs of care at home. And that's it, I guess. I know you have more questions, so let's go
Yeah.
I can go on and on and on. So
Yeah, that's a great founder story. You know, a lot of the entrepreneurs that I talk to and have on my show have a similar story, right? Something happened in their life, and then they decided to, be proactive and take action and try to, fix things that they may have seen as broken, right? And there's no secret that, like I said earlier, many of the facilities maybe don't treat their residents with the level of love and compassion that you can obviously with your own family, but even working within somebody's house, right? There's so much more personalization and comfort that comes with that. There's no secret about that. Sophia
is the place of healing, Nate. I say a bowl of cereal. That's an analogy I use all the time. It's not the food, it's the smell. Is that the staff, a bowl of cereal at home tastes different than the exact same cereal in a hospital setting or a facility setting. So as small as you think that a bowl of cereal analogy goes all the way in every level, that when you are at home, home has so much power for healing. And I have not come to anyone that says, I want to go to a nursing home when I get old. Personally, I haven't run to anyone that says, yeah, when it's time. So I goes back to exhaust all the options before we can move them. There are so many options out there, and education, talking to people, telling them there is help out there, use it, and educate the community about all the resources that we can, or we as a community can provide for our loved ones before we move them anywhere.
I love that. Yeah, I love the cereal analogy. That's great because it's so true. Um, Sophia, did you always want to be an entrepreneur, or was it out of necessity that you became one?
I think I had the entrepreneurship in me. Even prior to this, I was in a different line of business, but I did real estate management.
Ah,
Um, and when mom had the stroke again, I guess the journey was so powerful. And the story is one that is, as you said, really unique, that a lot of people told me, you need to get to this line of business. You need to get to this line of business. And I love real estate, development, management, um, that I didn't believe in myself that this is a unique story.
hmm.
So hearing it over and over, and I told you I have a few chapters to Anova. Mom was the start. Another chapter is my husband who has MS and was diagnosed in 1999, entrepreneur of Boulder County, better half of me. And combination of both. Truly, in 2017, I say I woke up and I was enlightened. I said, this is a unique story and I will not do justice. Everybody can do real estate and they will do much better than me. But if I can share my story with others, this is a powerful story and I will not do justice if I don't share it. So I make the switch, I guess, to go from real estate realm to a whole different realm. And it's challenging, it's different. Healthcare is very difficult, but I'm enjoying it because I feel I can contribute. The story that I can share, um, it gives me, I guess, the reason to continue what I'm doing.
That's great. And there's no secret that you're certainly making a major impact, especially, in the eyes of the families that you're helping. My grandpa, for example, has a home health care company. He lives in Chicago. He has a home health care company that, stays with him 24/7. And the quality of life for him is so much better than it would be, if he was staying in a facility. He's
Absolutely.
built relationships with these people that, come by every day, and it's really incredible. Even my family, we love that whole team that he has. They're really incredible. But you've really seen, home health care through the eyes of families, obviously through Anova and through your personal experiences. What would you say is maybe one thing that most people don't realize about the home healthcare system until they're in it?
Uh, how broken the system is,
Mm,
how much help and need is of change is like we needed to have the change yesterday. Prevention, if people know what does personalized care for individuals that need that prevention of fall,
yeah.
infection, education that will save money for the system.
Mm,
If people knew that even 4 hours of a week of help, how much this can help their loved ones. Fall is number one. A lot of time when they have to do laundry, when they have to bring groceries in. If families knew how much impact that 4 hours can have, and obviously more as the need rise, it will make a huge difference. And you don't end up having your loved one go to hospitals that will cost a lot more. And the time that family have to dedicate, family caregiving burnout. So in every level, I think it will make a huge difference.
hmm Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If you were to, kind of redesign the healthcare system from scratch, as we think about home healthcare, but even also like the option of having facilities, if you were to kind of redesign that from scratch, what would that look like, or what changes would you recommend that are made?
As I have had, like your grandpa, we had family, I had an agency that helped us when my mom had her stroke, continuum of care. I saw how broken the system is. And having one, it's going to the hospital, and if your loved one has an issue going to hospital for diabetes, all of a sudden they see other needs. They're not going to tell them, okay, you have to leave, go to another hospital to take care of you. We only do anything related to diabetes.
Mm.
Having continuum of care, because the system was built for short term, I think, or diagnosis. And the long-term care, just like hospital, Anova wants to be hospital at home.
Mm.
So if a family member, when need comes, and it's personal care and it's homemaking services, but end up needing more help. So there is need for home health to come in. And then there is need for palliative care to come in. When there is continuum of care, the flow of care goes a lot more smoother. Your loved one doesn't have to repeat the same thing to 3 different companies.
Mm-hmm.
And they know the story. We have something called daily stand-up. Every morning we review every single patient and client. So when need comes, we make recommendations, and we already know the client. We know their stories. One thing that stuck with me over the years was when we went to hospice, not long, 11 hours for my mom. I wish they knew my mom. I wish, so the caregiver we had with us knew my mom, but we had to repeat the whole story again. And she was so close to us that I feel at Anova, when we share the stories, when the need comes, like so-and-so needs now home health, or so-and-so needs hospice, we already know the client, we know the patient. That's the first thing that I think we never paid attention, how important continuum of care is. It makes everything easier for families. And second, I hope there would be a day that all private insurances, Medicare, Medicaid has a program called long-term care, and they pay for individuals who are on Medicaid. So they have recognized if these individuals stay at home, it will cost Medicaid, saves money for Medicaid, and that individual is much happier. And it breaks my heart every day to see that we're not able to provide the same thing for majority of the members of our community that are middle class, retired teachers, retired individuals who are not able to pay for our services because home care is expensive. But if insurances recognize that if we give the same thing that Medicaid does, if we provide 9 hours of service every week, 10 hours of service, whatever that the individual needs, it's prevention. It helps them from fall that Mrs. Jones, and we have had clients, many over and over the years, that have fallen, go to rehab, come back home, don't have support, go back to hospital, fall again, surgery, cost the system hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if we were in the picture, none of this would have happened. So I hope there would be a system that they say, we absolutely recognize that we can save money. Yeah. It's all about prevention versus reaction to what has happened.
Interesting. So would you say, like in the state of Colorado specifically, that Medicaid is set up better than a lot of private insurance in terms of home healthcare services? Is that accurate?
Not just Colorado, I think nationwide, Centers for Medicaid has a program called long-term care. And when individuals are on the waiver of Medicaid, if time comes that they need assistance at home with their adult daily activities, they can get approval from Medicaid.
Very interesting.
So anywhere from as little as whatever the individual needs. And they also have a program, respite care for families. It's called relative care. So why wouldn't United Healthcare, Optum, all these private commercial insurances do the same thing for elderly population who are back and forth between hospitals, infection, medication management, fall prevention, and I think it will save them money. Absolutely will save them money.
Yeah, that's fascinating because, you hear more often than not that, the private insurance options are so much better than Medicaid is, right? But this seems like a clear example of Medicaid actually doing a little bit more than many of these private institutions when it comes to that home health care. That's very interesting.
So for those who did not buy long-term care insurance back in 50s and 60s when first these things came out, families are doomed. All the savings that they have, and they try to keep the savings, unfortunately, to be something for the kids,
Yeah.
but it ends up being a lot of challenge and burden. And I hope there is a day that all these commercial insurances, healthcare insurances, not long-term care insurance, also recognize that population is getting older, they're living longer,
Yep.
and we absolutely will cost more if we have to constantly follow them with all these surgeries, all these hospitalizations. Let's allocate, let's try, let's give it a try. And anyone that the doctor says, I don't know, age, blah, blah, in this category, they can get minimum hours per week. Medicare is testing a program called Guide. Medicare pays up to 72 hours a year for dementia care. This is a new program, testing it. So I think these programs, they have to come. There is no way, as I said, all the baby boomers now are going to reach to the age, and the population that are getting older and older, that is going to be the category. 1 out of 4 people take care of a loved one at home. 1 out of 4. So 1, 2, if we go around of the office, we have 2 people who's taking care of that 1 out of 4 taking care of a loved one.
That's so
And
crazy.
that's so crazy. It puts a lot of burden on families. They have to take time off. Just in our organization, we have 4 people taking care of a family member.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think you have your grandpa, luckily he or family member, they have means to bring home care. But for those who are work so hard and they don't have the means, it's a
Yeah.
burden. And I obviously, it comes to profit, it comes to all the other issues. We don't want to get into it, but I am looking from the angle of saving money for the system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's great. So to shift gears a little bit, I want to talk about, your entrepreneurial journey a little bit. There's, obviously you are an entrepreneur yourself. And as entrepreneurs, there's always things when we first start a business that we don't expect, right? A lot of difficult obstacles to get over and things like that. What were some of the hardest parts of getting your business off the ground?
So I have to correct something. I think the challenges never ends. Don't think it changes. It changes every year. And I think the same problems I had 7 years ago, 8 years ago, I still do have those problems. They're just bigger. They're just bigger. I had to take care of a small payroll, now I have to take care of a huge payroll. I had to learn how to hire. But one thing I think, when I took, as I said, over Medicaid, a license, I bought somebody's license, 3 Medicaid clients. And as I was interviewing or letting them, informing them that now I'm the new owner, I would like to meet with you. Up to this day, I have met so many applicants, so many staff that have joined, and they're all looking for culture more than anything.
Interesting.
So it's not always the salary. I thought I'm getting into this field to take care of loved ones. That's my goal. But I came to realize that I have to need to create a culture that people are attracted to, and it's centered around our staff. And when we take care of this staff, they will go out there and take care of the loved ones. Mm. So the challenge of being an entrepreneur, especially in healthcare, that is a sector that is highly regulated, very difficult to deal with. Every aspect. I thought the home care side was difficult. Home health has its own challenges, claims we have to submit, claims that are denied. So I think entrepreneurship never ends, but also as an entrepreneur, you have the joy of maybe being able to change some of the chapters. Mm-hmm. So if I can create a place that is more welcoming, more inclusive, those are the joys that I get out of entrepreneurship while we're growing the business.
I love that.
And in every level, it has its own challenges and rewards.
Totally makes sense. Yeah, building a culture, no matter what industry you're in, is extremely challenging, right? How do you build the right culture? How do you get people to buy into the culture?
Yeah.
These are things I've talked with a lot of entrepreneurs about, right? And it's very difficult to do that. But once you have a super strong culture in place, your employees are happy to come to work. They're excited. They're passionate about what they do. That gets reflected onto your clients as well, right? Especially in your industry, right? Your clients have such a better quality of life when there's a strong culture embedded within your business for very obvious reasons. Um, yeah, that's definitely something that really resonates with me.
And it's my hope has been from day one, as we grow, how do we keep this culture?
Mm-hmm.
And again, we're in a sector, especially with Medicaid, that doesn't pay us well. So a lot of these care providers that go to the field, it's more than just a paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
They truly provide a service and they believe in it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be. They wouldn't be. And that's another challenge with goes to Medicaid. You know, I always say if you work for a lot of private sectors nowadays, they pay them really well, but Medicaid comes in and pays so little to us to take care of a loved one, to take care of somebody's parents, but it's Medicaid. Still, it's a program that some people have it. So there is a lot that needs to be fixed in long-term care and healthcare. Um, we have so much to do, so much to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be part of this team. And if we can, provide good service one client at a time, it's miracle. That's how I see it. And there's joy in that.
Yeah, that's incredible. So, Sophia, when you think about, when you first started the business, right? I know this is certainly how I was thinking, right? When I first started my marketing agency, I'm like, oh man, I need to get some clients, right? How did your first maybe 5 or 6 clients, how did you acquire them, right? Was it maybe referrals or any kind of marketing efforts or people that you previously knew? How did you first acquire your first handful of clients?
Goodness. That's a good question. How? When I came to this field, I should say from Medicaid, I got maybe made the right decision to um, place myself in the office of a gentleman who we bought the license from, and he had a transportation company. And these are things I've never done in my life, ever, ever. Marketing, cold calls. That's something I never thought I can do. And I always said, okay, where am I starting? Where do I go network? So I got this tiny broken desk. I said on the day we were closing, I asked him, I told my husband, maybe I should get an office from them. They had a vacant office.
Mm-hmm.
Now he can hear this if it goes on YouTube. I've shared it with everyone except him. So I asked him and I said, can I lease that space from you? He said, sure, you can. And I said, how much? And this is 2018. He said, $200. I said, great, I'll take it. So we asked the attorney, can you also draft a lease agreement? February 1, 2018, I went to that office in Aurora, in his office, and there was a broken desk, I joke, in one of the rooms he had with his dispatch. And they said, okay, you can use that desk. I was like, it's supposed to be a room. But that was the best thing actually again happened, that I was sharing that office, that room with this other girl, and I start listening and I start Google searching long-term care, elderly care, and we didn't have artificial intelligence to the level we have today. So and talking to the previous owner, and I start actually calling his clients, introducing myself. I don't know how. To this day, I don't know if I can do it again, but I start calling his clients and I share that I am the new person and I took over this license and I have taken care of my mom. I know what it takes. I've been in the field unprofessionally. I think that line resonates with a lot of people that, okay, here's somebody who has taken care of someone.
Mm-hmm.
And I somebody said, sure, come meet me. And I went to their home and the first year, I think I went from 3 Medicaid clients to end of the year with 30 clients, and I got a building to get into,
Wow.
which was bigger private pay. And to this day, we actually end up being a preferred agency, and they gave us small office in their buildings. Yeah, and then growing, now we have an office in Cherry Creek, an office in Colorado Springs. We have staff. This is another thing that during the years that Colorado, especially after COVID, was very, very hard to hire staff here. We start thinking out of the box, start hiring staff in other states that was more cost effective. So we have stuff in Chicago, actually, Minnesota, Georgia, Utah, California, New Jersey, Mexico City, and as of January, we went to Philippines.
Wow.
So
Guys are all over the
our
place.
set all over the place. Yeah, again, as an entrepreneur, you have to think of ways to cut costs, ways to grow, ways to add services. That's why I say it never ends. The bigger you get, I guess, the more challenging it gets because the fall is higher. You know, there was a time that I had to cover the payroll for 3 clients. Now I have to cover the payroll for 3 staff. Now I have to cover for 350. So which one was more difficult? Both.
Yeah, that's such a great story. And, you know, I think a lot of entrepreneurs or people that, you know, want to start a business, one thing that holds them back is that fear of cold calling, that fear of putting themselves out there, right? But it sounds like with you had that personal experience, and that from what I'm hearing, it sounds like it really gave you a lot of confidence, right? You really understand what people are looking for. You are able to find a way to position yourself as a solution to a lot of the
Absolutely.
problems that they are finding themselves, you know, kind of falling into. And you know, you had the courage to go out and actually do it, right? So yeah, that's what a cool story, and just a really great way to get your first few clients, you know, through hard work and dedication, right? And personal experience. I really like that.
I have to say, I always say I'm the voice of client at Anova. And I have been a client of home care agency with my mom. I was a client. And with my husband, we still use home care. He works full time, but every day we have staff that separately we have hired. They come. So I am a client of home care. And Nate, I hope I will be a client of home care for many years to come, because I hope my husband and I will have another 50 years of journey together. So I am the voice of client. To this day, a lot of time, even on, as I said, on different meetings, things come up. I'm like, no, 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 no. That's not how we do it. No, 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 no. I know how important it is to make that phone call on Friday night when agencies called me and said, we don't have staff yet. That call, that update is an update. Communication is huge at Anova, because I have been through, like, I haven't called. And that's another reason when my mom, you know, we started using home care agencies, but then we took over after a couple of years. We took over the agency. We start hiring directly. And that was a journey. We had to recruit. We had to train about mom. We had the best decision we made was to be in charge of the hiring aspect, so we could choose people that were closer to what we knew mom would be more comfortable. And that was the reason that, you know, mom was living with us 10 years. She lived 10 years after her stroke. That would have not happened if it was like a queen, like a queen. She didn't just truly like a queen.
I love that.
We brought, our life was around her care. Her care wasn't around our life. She became the center of every activity we did. Mom was part of it. That how do we get mom to be in all of our gatherings? And she was part of everyday activities we had. And that's why she had a beautiful life 10 years after that. And that's the best thing I've ever done in my life. No regrets. Somebody, one of her doctors actually asked me once that hopefully, because we dedicated a lot, we made a lot of changes around mom. And it resonated with me when he said it. I always thought, would I regret in the future? None. None. If I go back, I will do it all over again.
Mhm.
But if I have an advice to give to Sophia 20 years ago, I would say also give more time to myself. Don't feel
Mhm.
guilty to go on a trip
Mhm.
longer than a week. Don't panic. Uh, do it all over again. Absolutely.
I love that. Yeah, what a great story about your mom. That's something that's really going to resonate with my audience and definitely really hits home for me. You know, the ability to live at home like a queen for the last 10
Mhm.
years, right?
Mhm.
That's everything. Quality of life is everything. So, I really like that. Well,
And dignity, and their dignity,
mhm.
their dignity. We're not in charge. That's something that I always feel. They are the boss. We are just facilitating what they need. That's it. So do not rule, do not order, do not make suggestions. They have lived their lives for 70, 80, whatever we are just facilitator of whatever they need. So do not teach them anything. Please don't teach anyone anything. They have been there, done that. We are now they need our support to do the same thing they've done.
Mm, that's incredible. So, Sophia, I have one final question for you, and this is
Sure.
very much for the people at home that may be considering options for at home care.
Mhm.
You know, what kind of like mistakes should families avoid when navigating different home healthcare companies, or what are the right questions for them to ask when meeting with home healthcare companies?
I guess how long have they been in business? Their Google reviews, what kind of services they provide. Um, I think these are the key questions to ask. Definitely look at their Google reviews. Talk to them. Talk to them. Do not, I mean, don't just look at Google review. Pick up the phone and definitely, because this is your loved one,
Yeah.
and you too. If this match is the right match, you will enjoy it because they become part of your family. The people that took care of my mom to this day, I am in communications with them, and I am in owe them for the rest of my life. I feel phenomenal people that stayed with us. One of them stayed with us 9 years
Wow.
after we found her. 9 years. She is family. So definitely pick up the phone and see, do you like them? Do you like their culture? Do you like what you hear? Do you like the customer service? Spend a little time, it will pay off. So definitely meet with a few companies after you do your Google research, word of mouth, and then meet with them in person, then make a
Mm.
decision, because this is a long relationship you're going to have and you don't want to do it again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think meeting in persons must be extremely important, right? Because
Yes.
you can get a overall vibe from someone over the phone, but there's nothing like one-on-one communication in real life, right? Where you can really see, okay, do I think that this company has the type of culture that I want to enter my parents' household, right? I think that's absolutely something to consider and totally makes sense. Cool. Well, yeah, Sophia, tell us where can people learn more about Anova Care? How can they get in touch with you?
And call us. As I said, call us. That's the best way. Call our main number. Again, we have one number. That's the beauty of Anova Care. And when you call the main number, or you can go to our website, um, anovacare.com. That's our website. We're on social media. We're on LinkedIn. But the best thing is to go on Google, read about us. Please read our story and learn how Anova started and the reasons behind it. I think it's huge. As I said, are we perfect? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's very difficult to be in the sector I work and the way we are paid and have all these law to go. We're not a software company. We don't have a software product that you build it and boy, you sell it. It's very customer service. It's people. Every
Yeah.
single person provides. It's one-on-one. It's a difficult field. But and that's another hesitation I have to share now that it comes to my mind, that I didn't start right away to get into this field.
Hmm.
I was afraid that if anything happens, if everything doesn't go the way I want it for my mom, what happens? Yes, I preach every day. I talk too much. I can go on and on. Everybody knows when we go places, Sophia, you have 5 minutes, not more. I'm passionate, but how do I deliver this to 350 other staff? And somebody said, your culture has to be at the right place.
Mm.
Your values have to be right. Your intentions have to be right. And if all of those are right, to all entrepreneurs, I should say, if anything goes the way that shouldn't be, you go fix it.
Mm-hmm.
You go figure it out. So those mission, values, intentions are very important, especially in our sector, because we are working with people, loved ones.
Yeah, it's the business of people. There's no secret about that. That's great. Well, Sophia, this has been a great episode. Yeah, I think my listeners are really going to like what you had to say, and just wanted to thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me, Nate, and
Yeah,
good luck.
thank you so much. And I hope you all enjoyed this episode with Sophia Akrami.